How's it going, Sports Checkdown fans? I'm back at it with another video, and I will be covering the NFL Draft. And let's just get started. And picking number 1 is the Cincinnati Bengals with a terrible record. And so this is going to be an obvious choice, as the Cincinnati Bengals will go with Joe Burrow, in my opinion, because he's the hometown kid. He had a great college season, and Tua Tagovailoa, who I believe was the best college quarterback coming out this year, is hurt, so that could really hurt his stock, which is the reason why Joe Burrow is going to go first overall. And then for the second overall pick, I have the Washington Redskins selecting Chase Young out of Ohio State. He's a defensive edge that's a monster, and he's just a surefire pick, and the Washington Redskins can't go anywhere else but here if they're sold on Haskins. But if they aren't, they'll select another quarterback. But I feel like they're going to give Haskins another chance. And so Chase Young is going to be their pick. And third overall, I have Jeffrey Okudah going to the Detroit Lions because I believe they're going to find a person to replace Darius Slay, and that's going to be Jeffrey Okudah. And Matt Stafford is their quarterback for now. They might replace him later, but for right now, I believe they're going to stick with Matt Stafford. And then coming in at number 4 overall, the New York Giants are picking, and I have them taking Isaiah Simmons. You could definitely argue they could choose an offensive lineman, but when Joe Judge was first hired, he emphasized one thing and one thing only: versatility. And Isaiah Simmons screams versatility because he played cornerback, linebacker, and safety in his time at Clemson, and I think this could be an excellent pick for the Giants. And so that's why I have them taking Isaiah Simmons. Then coming in at number 4 overall, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Tua. They lucked into getting Tua because of his medical history, and I believe they'll still take him even though he got injured, because he is the best prospect in the draft as a quarterback, and he is the best quarterback in my opinion, and I feel like this is a can't-miss prospect. I feel they're going to sit him for a year and then play him because of the injury history, but besides that, I think Tua's going to be their guy. With the 6th overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers are picking, and I have them taking Justin Herbert, because they lost Phillip Rivers recently and Tyrod Taylor is their only quarterback right now. I feel like they're going to keep Tyrod Taylor starting for a year and then play Justin Herbert, but Tyrod Taylor is going to be their backup but not their main solution. That's why I have them picking Justin Herbert in this upcoming draft. Coming in at number 7 overall, I have the Carolina Panthers selecting Derrick Brown. I have them selecting Derrick Brown because they lost some defensive pieces, and they've already identified their quarterback as Teddy Bridgewater, so I believe they'll just use Derrick Brown to improve their defense. Their offense isn't bad. They have Christian McCaffrey, so I feel like they're just going to upgrade the offense. Coming in at number 8 overall, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting Tristan Wirfs, and this is because they just got their wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins from a steal of a trade from the Texans. And then they just need an offensive lineman to protect Kyler Murray, their future quarterback. And so they already have the left tackle address, so I think they're going to put Tristan Wirfs on the right tackle position, and they're going to be ready to go. With the 9th overall pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Jedrick Wills to protect Gardner Minshew because they claim he is their new franchise quarterback as they traded away Foles. And what better way to make your franchise quarterback better than an offensive lineman? They could get a wide receiver, but I believe they need to address the linemen first because Gardner Minshew needs to be protected first and foremost. Then, Cleveland is picking with the 10th overall pick, and I have them selecting Andrew Thomas, who I believe is one of the better offensive linemen in this draft, and I would think will be the best one. And Cleveland's main positional need they need is offensive linemen because last year Baker had no time. Yes, I know they got Jack Conklin, but you can never have too many great offensive linemen, and then Baker could look truly spectacular in that position, and he will no longer be regarded as a bust, as people were starting to call him recently. With the 11th overall pick, I have the New York Jets selecting Jerry Jeudy to help out Sam Darnold. You could argue offensive lineman, but I believe the best offensive linemen are taken, and it's too high of a position to take another one. So I have them taking a wide receiver that could tremendously help Sam Darnold, and that is Jerry Jeudy. And I believe it's going to work very well, as Robbie Anderson, I believe, will not come back unless he gets a big deal. So Jerry Jeudy will be a safe pick for them. And with the 12th overall pick, I have the Las Vegas Raiders selecting CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma, the second wide receiver taken off, who I believe will be the better one. But a lot of people see Jerry Jeudy better. That's why I have CeeDee Lamb going after him. And I believe he's going to do wonders with Marcus Mariota or Derek Carr, whoever the Raiders choose to play. And I don't think they're going to take a quarterback, as they now have 2 quarterbacks who are viable enough to win games and not lose them. With the 13th pick, acquired from the Indianapolis Colts, I have the San Francisco 49ers selecting Javon Kinlaw, defensive lineman. This is to help replace DeForest Buckner, who they traded away because they couldn't pay him. So they're getting a cheaper option at Javon Kinlaw since he's a rookie. Not going to be as good, but he's still going to have an impact on that line because San Francisco seems to prioritize their line above all else. 14th pick, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Clavon Chasen, defensive edge, because they just addressed their need at quarterback with Tom Brady, and I feel like the running back's going to get better with the threat of passing always. The defense is going to play the pass more, which will make Ronald Barber a better running back, so they can only address their defense, and they can put Clavon Chasen along with Shaq Barrett on the edge, and that's going to create havoc for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers opponent, and Bucs are going to be even better with Clavon Chasen. With Denver picking number 15 overall, I have them taking Henry Ruggs to help out their young quarterback, Drew Lock. And this is because Drew Lock had good weapons, but now he can add a speedy receiver to take the top off defenses. You could address other needs, but I feel like this will help the young quarterback the most as their offensive lineman is good. It's not great, but it's still viable enough for a young quarterback to succeed. And then I feel like Henry Ruggs would be the right option with this pick. And that's just to take the top off defenses. Atlanta has the 16th overall pick, and I have them selecting AJ Epinesa as their defense was average to below average last year. I feel their offense is stacked, especially now that they added Todd Gurley, and so all they need to address is their defense. And their line was very average to below average, so I feel like AJ Epinesa will be a godsend to them, especially at the number 16th pick. And this is a good value for Atlanta. Dallas, with the 17th overall pick, I have them taking A.J. Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. This is to replace Byron Jones, who left them in free agency just because they couldn't pay him. And so I feel like they're going to get a cheaper option, not as good, but I feel like A.J. Terrell can develop. And that defense is already pretty good. They already have a good defensive lineman. They could address the offensive tackle position or the center position as their people are retiring, but I feel like they're going to replace Byron Jones first and foremost with A.J. Terrell. At number 18 overall, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Jonathan Taylor, the running back, to help out Tua Tagovailoa, their young quarterback. This way, when the defenses are getting tough, they can just hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor because running backs usually don't have first-year struggles like the quarterbacks do. This way, Tua will have a huge help in Jonathan Taylor. With the 19th pick, the Las Vegas Raiders will select Trevon Diggs, the cornerback, as he didn't have as high of a grade as CeeDee Lamb. That's why they took CeeDee Lamb earlier, so they wouldn't lose out on him. But Trevon Diggs would definitely help out their defense, as I feel their offense is fine, as now they'll have CeeDee Lamb, and they already have their running back position addressed with Josh Jacobs. That's why they're only going to take a cornerback to help their defense out, which if we're talking about anything, the defense needs more help than the offense. And then the Jaguars, they're going to take C.J. Henderson, cornerback, as they replaced, they got rid of A.J. Boye, they got rid of Jalen Ramsey. They got rid of most of their defense, so their defense isn't going to be great next year, so they're going to need to take some person to help them out. And I believe they're going to take C.J. Henderson, the cornerback, to at least keep the passes out of the way. They traded away most of the defense, including Calais Campbell, so we're going to see how good the Jaguars do. With the 21st pick, the Philadelphia Eagles will select Justin Jefferson, as their main position of need last year was cornerback, but they addressed that with Darius Slay, and their second most needed position was wide receiver as they had injuries, and so I believe they're going to take Justin Jefferson to help them out with that. And Justin Jefferson is much better than Nelson Aguilar, as they let him go, as Justin Jefferson can actually catch a ball. And just with that, that's a major improvement over Nelson Aguilar, if we're being honest. Coming in at number 22, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive edge. The Vikings, their defense is good. I feel like it could get better because I feel like their offense, they could get better, but I feel like you can't get anywhere further than you are with Kirk Cousins. Even if you add Stephon Diggs or someone like they had before, they weren't a spectacular offense. They had a great offense, but Kirk Cousins isn't going to make your offense spectacular. So I say beef up the defense, and that's what they're going to do in my mock draft by selecting Yetur Gross-Matos. Then the Patriots at number 23 overall are picking, and most of you guys are going to hate this, but I have them taking Jordan Love as he fell right into the laps, and he has similar to Patrick Mahomes' potential, but he is just like Patrick Mahomes as a prospect. He has shoddy mechanics. His mechanics are worse than Patrick Mahomes, but he has a great arm, and I feel like Bill Belichick will love that, and that will make him take him early like this. Number 24, I have the Saints selecting Bryce Hall, cornerback. Nothing much to be said about this pick, as Adam Thielen kind of cooked the Saints. He had a fumble, but Marshawn Lattimore got injured somewhat in that game, so he had to sit out a few plays with a concussion, and so they were left with nothing. And if they take Bryce Hall, the cornerback, they can really make some noise with their defense, because we all know their offense is highly potent, as they selected Emmanuel Sanders, so they are set to go. They just need a better defense, and that's going to be replaced in the secondary with Marshawn Lattimore going to be on their one side and Bryce Hall on the other side. And then the Vikings, they're picking again, the Minnesota Vikings. They got the pick from Buffalo, or the first pick was from Buffalo. This is their own pick, and I believe they're going to take Christian Fulton, another cornerback, and this is just to beef up their defense, because I feel like their offense is just fine. They're going to sign a wide receiver, I believe. Adam Thielen was a better receiver than Stephon Diggs, as the numbers showed it and everything, and I think Adam Thielen's numbers are going to increase, not by much, but there's going to be other Vikings receivers that are going to step up. At number 26 overall, Miami Dolphins are selecting the last time in the first round, and they're going to take Kenneth Murray, linebacker. And I believe this is going to be a great pick, as their defense is average or a little below average. And with Kenneth Murray, they're going to beef up the defense a little more, and they are missing the linebacker position. They address the cornerback needs, some of the other cornerback needs in the draft. Free agency, but I feel like they can address the linebacker need in the first round and 26th overall. So they're going to take Kenneth Murray. And then 27th overall, Seattle is going to choose Julian Okwara, defensive edge. They're going to, I feel like Jadeveon Clowney might leave the Seattle Seahawks, and so they're going to need someone to replace him, and they're going to take Julian Okwara, defensive edge, to replace him. Number 28 overall, Baltimore's going to take T. Higgins, wide receiver, to help out Lamar Jackson a little more. Hollywood Brown had a good year. He got injured a lot. Not a lot, but he had some injury concerns, and I feel like that's going to carry on for the rest of his season, or not season, career. So I feel like they're going to want to get another receiver to help out Lamar Jackson, as when the running game didn't work out, they were basically screwed because there weren't many receivers stepping up. So I believe T. Higgins will be the receiver to help step up for the Baltimore Ravens. Number 29, I have the Titans selecting Austin Jackson, offensive lineman. And I believe they're going to take him because Jack Conklin's gone, so I feel like they're going to move someone to help to replace Jack Conklin's position, and they're going to have Austin Jackson play where the old person played, to replace the position of the old person that was playing at that position. And so this is all just to fix the offensive line without Jack Conklin. Number 30 overall, Green Bay is picking, and I have them taking Laviska Shenault, wide receiver. I may have butchered the last name, but Laviska is the name you want to know, and I believe he's going to go to the Green Bay Packers, as the Packers definitely needed a wide receiver, and because they only had Devontae Adams, they haven't picked up anyone special, and I believe Laviska is going to be the person to answer Aaron Rodgers' prayers along with Devontae Adams. Number 31 overall, San Francisco 49ers take Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, because they lost Emmanuel Sanders, and they're going to need another wide receiver along with Deebo Samuel to help them out, and I think that's going to be Brandon Ayuk. And Jimmy Garoppolo definitely needs some help on the wide receiver position, because Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, not a spectacular quarterback, and so they're going to need him to step up Brandon Ayuk. And then the last pick in the first round, I have Kansas City taking J.K. Dobbins, the running back out of Ohio State, and I believe he is the second best running back in the whole draft. And the Kansas City Chiefs, if anything, I believe they need a running back, as Damian Williams did do good for them in the Super Bowl, but I don't think he is a super reliable option. I think they could be a good tandem at the running back. And that's all for the NFL mock draft for the first round. All right, so please like and subscribe to the video. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you.